EV Comply, simplifying your charge point installations.
Friday the 27th of March, another week, another podcast brought to you directly from EV Comply. Let's see who our special guest is this week.
So a massive hello to Dan Taylor, who's General Manager at the Universal Skills Group. Hey, Dan.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's great to be able to chat with you and for you to make yourself free.
No problem at all. Excited to join.
Basically, you're well known within the industry for your smart meter training and the fact that obviously you're independent. Over the past 5 years, you've trained many, 2,000 plus possibly. So tell me a bit more about the centre and, how long it's been going for.
Yeah, sure. So Universal Skills Centre was formerly known as Wakefield Skills Centre. So based in Wakefield, obviously, and it's got a history of electrical and health and safety training. So the owners actually took over about 5 years ago in Wakefield and revamped the centre a little bit. So it's been bespoke built with different stages for training and a real life street environment, slap bang in the middle as soon as you walk in. So yeah, it's been there for about 30 years, a lot of history in electrical, but I guess over the last couple of years, we've been heavily focused on smart metering and the new entrant model with smart metering, as well as existing people coming through and renewing the qualifications.
Now, obviously with this podcast, we're really enthusiastic about EV because it is an exciting time. I do think even if you're not in the industry, there's definitely a buzz around it because it's new, but more importantly, it's kind of creeping up, isn't it, really quite quick with all the changes coming for 2030. Have you found that more people are kind of paying an interest or enrolling? Has there been a significant increase?
Absolutely. So we launched our EV training a couple of years ago, and like I said before, smart has really been the dominant force in terms of training for us. And I would say that EV is getting bigger and bigger. And interestingly, if you think of the last 12 months you'd had with the pandemic, it's still been quite a big demand. We work with a lot of wholesalers over the country and manufacturers as well, and there's been a lot of demand over this last 12 months. Considering the lockdown impact, we've been surprised how busy it's been. And one thing we're also seeing now is smart meter installers beginning to upskill and transfer their skills into this department domestically.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to come down. I'm going to have a look around the site. There's going to be a video, by the way, for the listeners that you're going to be able to see. Obviously, that's going to be posted across all socials. But it's so realistic, isn't it? I think that's what's so brilliant about this, because I think often in business, sometimes it can lack a little bit of imagination, and you've definitely got that there because you've got a full street.
Yeah, to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I joined the company almost 4 years ago now. So my background's at British Gas. I'd been there for 10 years and huge juggernaut of a company, but sometimes, some of the things that they did just took a little bit of time. And I remember coming into Wakefield and it was forklift trucks as far as the eye could see. That was the big focus for training. And one of the owners showed me around, Daniel Coleman, and he just said, this is the vision, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have stages for training so people are not overwhelmed. There's going to be a street so they're ready for the real life environment. So new entrants wouldn't be overwhelmed when they go out to the customers' properties, but also when people come in to do the reassessments and electricians, time served, come in, or gas engineers come in, it's familiar surroundings. It's not just a classroom with some things on the wall. We have the classrooms and we have the workshops as well, and we have the assessment rooms, but the street has real life houses in there, just to give you that that customer journey experience that people do go out there and see every day once they're live doing the job.
It really is amazing, and like I say, people need to watch out for the video because it gives the Coronation Street sat a run for its money.
To be honest, I love showing people around, and it's been difficult obviously over the last 12 months, but the feedback we always get is this is great, and I think we as Universal Skills sort of staff become a little bit immune to it, but we are really lucky with the facility and showcase it with a lot of our energy companies that we work with. And it's we feel like we've got something good, and we're constantly trying to improve it with the houses and adding different features and benefits into it, which we'll show you. And there's lots of EV charge points on the street as well. And it's all set up for the roadworks with the street, so Cat and Jenny training can be done there, cable avoidance, things like that. But for EV, it really is perfect on the street.
It's crazy that everybody doesn't train in this way because, like you say, it's all very well and good sat in a classroom. Can you fundamentally do it? But then you go out on a street, like you say, the environment's different. There's going to be things going on. It's going to look different. So it's obviously training an environment that's similar just makes sense, does it not?
I think so. It's we've been known to bring actors in the past in the street and work in the houses. So when some of our apprentices have gone through the training, they've actually had that interaction that they're going to have out there as well. One of the main things we try and do is to begin the training with the end in sight. So it's broken down into phases, and we don't want to give the trainee, even an existing electrician, we don't want to give them everything at once. We want to break it down into segments and make sure that nobody's overwhelmed, they're ready, and they work through the stages. Depending on what training we're doing, if we look at the new entrant models we do for both electrical and smart metering, they're quite longer programs, so it works really well. Whereas the EV training that we do is 2 days, the City and Guilds course. And whilst there's some elements on the street, a lot of it's theory-based as well. They spend some time in the workshops, and they've got to be signed off physically doing the install. So it all sort of comes together and works quite nicely.
Now, there's loads of grants, isn't there, at the moment? And, I touch upon this with everyone I talk to because different sectors have different knowledge and different schemes set in place themselves to kind of help people enrol. How are you handling the government grants and stuff like that?
Well, it's recently changed to the OZEV grant, very similar to how it was working before under the name OLEV. But I think there is an education piece there with a lot of electricians who are just not used to what's available. Where I live in Leeds, I know quite a few electricians who work for the Leeds City Council, and just speaking to them from time to time, they're just not aware of the grants that are available. And if you come and do the training and show your competencies and you have your 18th edition, then you are opened up domestically to £350 per install, which you can pass on to your customer. And it's a big benefit. And I think a lot of people that inquire with us for the EV training are just not aware that there's the domestic grants available. There's also commercial grants available as well. Yeah, it's something we try and sort of sing from the hilltops to say that not only do you get a City and Guilds level 3 qualification, but you also get the government funding. You go onto the government's website as well to say you're improved installer. So I think that's really important. We try and get that across through the training, and we help people get onto the OZEV grant as well. So when they train with us, we will help them process their application. And somebody's got to install these points. We're already seeing a backlog of, right, I've purchased a vehicle, now I need a charge point fitting. It's difficult for the customer sometimes to understand the process. So there's definitely a big gap for some electricians to be taking some of this market, because we see a backlog already of, I can't get a charge point fitted.
And before you know it, it really is going to be a case of everyone's in electric. And like you say, it's a great time to try and grab a piece of the pie. Now, excitingly, for anyone who does enrol onto the course, they've then got the use of our app here at EV Comply, haven't they?
Absolutely. So I think that's the really important thing for us. So during the smart metering training, we've always been keen to support people in the field with videos and extra support where possible so they can speak to an expert. Very similar, and why I wanted to partner with EV Comply is because the support on the field. So we'll give everything needed in the training centre, but out there, when you're in the customer's property, sometimes you'll come across things that you're not quite experienced with and just need that little bit of help. And I think the great thing, what the guys have done the guys and girls at EV Comply, is that support that's in your hand and it's ready to go. If you're on an install and you're stuck, I believe it's almost ready now that you can FaceTime somebody during installation, so you can actually speak to a physical expert there and then remotely. So yeah, I think we're so keen for the support when you've got your City and Guilds qualification, you're on the OLEV/OZEV scheme, but then you also go out and you can be compliant with your OZEV paperwork. You've got the support for the manufactured charge point that you're fitting as well, and you can speak to industry experts like EV Comply.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, from our side of the fence as well, that was a massive plus for wanting to also partner, because it goes hand in hand. And I think obviously if you're taking people up to training point when they would then need their hand to possibly be held a little bit, to know that there's a facility there where you're not mithering someone or someone's not going to pick up, I think is quite important. So really, I think the both of them massively complement each other. And I think, between the two companies, there's no reason why somebody couldn't enrol, be taken really sufficiently through the training process, and then have the hand held on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And as part of the training, they will go away with the app. We'll make sure they're enrolled onto that, and we'll make sure they have a good understanding. We're starting to plan things already from April, with a bit of a plan for the rest of this year, with courses going across all over the United Kingdom. Just because you're not close to Wakefield, we can still give you the support with the compliance app and also the training through ourselves at a pop-up location.
Brilliant stuff. Well, it's been so great to speak to you, and to the electricians, that no doubt are listening to this. I think they're going to want to know what's the next step. Now, of course, we're going to have a video, and they're going to be able to see that, and all the details are going to be provided. But just for audio purposes, Dan, let them know how they can kind of get in touch and look you up if they wish to. Yeah,
our website is universalskillsgroup.co.uk. You'll also find us on LinkedIn, and also Twitter and Facebook, Instagram. So we're available on all those platforms. But the best place, really, we've just made some enhancements to our website. So universalskillsgroup.co.uk, you can book online, you can virtually tour the centre online as well via our website. So yeah, hit us up on the website and we'll be more than happy to help. And looking forward to the relationship going forward with ourselves and EV Comply.
Absolutely, as are we. So Dan Taylor, General Manager at the Universal Skills Group, thank you for chatting with me, and watch this space because a video to follow.